They told me to sit in the last row of the stadium because the front was reserved for important families and honored guests. And even though I was his father, they said it would look better if I was not seen too much during the ceremony. And I did not argue, because at 75 years old, I had learned that arguments only make people more uncomfortable with you, especially when you walk slow and your left leg does not move the way it should. My son stood on the field in full uniform, surrounded by flags and cameras and applause and cheers, and people who knew his name and his rank and his accomplishments. And I sat far away, holding my cane with both hands, watching a man I helped raise become someone the world respected, even if he did not look back at me even once. The announcer talked about leadership and honor and years of service and sacrifice, and every word felt heavy because none of them included the quiet sacrifices, the kind that happen without medals or ceremonies, the kind that follow you home and stay with you for decades. And I felt my back ache, as it always did when I sat too long, a reminder of a night I had never talked about. When the announcer said there was a special guest, the crowd stood and a silence rolled across the stadium as an old general walked slowly onto the field with a posture that still carried authority. And when he looked around, his eyes did not stop on the stage or the cameras or my son, but traveled all the way to the back until they found me. And in that moment, I knew the past had finally caught up. The general walked across the field, ignoring protocol, ignoring the hands extended toward him, and when he stopped in front of me, he stood at attention and saluted me and said my name out loud, a name I had not heard spoken with respect in more than 40 years, and the stadium went completely silent as my son turned around confused and shocked. The general spoke about a night during war when everything went wrong, about a vehicle hit by fire, about men screaming in darkness and confusion, and how I had crawled through smoke and metal and blood to pull him out, and how my body paid the price, and how my career ended that same night, and how I never asked for anything after that, not even recognition. I stood slowly with my cane, visible to everyone, and for the first time, I did not try to hide it. And I saw my son walk off the field toward me with tears on his face as he realized the man he had asked to stay in the back had carried a story he never bothered to hear. And when he stood in front of me, he could not speak, so he saluted me, just like the general had. The crowd stood, not for a rank or a title, but for a story that had waited too long to be told. And as I looked around at thousands of people on their feet, I understood something that took me a lifetime to learn. That being invisible does not mean you were never important. It only means the world was late in seeing you. When the ceremony ended, my son walked beside me, not a step ahead, not a step behind, and for the first time in many years, I did not feel like a burden or a shadow. I felt like a man who had finally been seen, and that feeling was worth every year of silence.